Hello everyone, in this video I'm going to show you how to set up a macOS virtual machine in VMware. This allows you to run macOS on your Windows PC and use iServices like iMessage and FaceTime. In the end, I'll show you how to send iMessages from your Android phone as well. The first step will be to set up the VM. So start by downloading VMware Workstation Player. You can also do this whole process on Linux, although I will not be showing that. I'm on Windows here. Click download now and then save. The next thing we'll need is Auto-Unlocker. This will allow VMware to run macOS as it does not by default. Go ahead and download this, and there's also a Linux version if you need it. Finally, download the ISO. I'm going to be using macOS Catalina for this. You can also find Big Sur. Once you've opened the exe file, click Next and then I accept the license term. And then just follow the steps on screen. Once it's completed installing, go ahead and open the unlocker.exe file. Once that's complete, don't delete the folder as there are other tools in there that we will need later. Once your ISO has completed downloading, you can go ahead and launch VMware. First, create a folder in your downloads folder or wherever you'd like to store the VM and name it whatever you'd like. Click create a new virtual machine and then browse for the Catalina.iso file or the macOS Big Sur or Monterey file if you're choosing to use that. Then click next and then Apple macOS X and then macOS 10.15. Then click browse and then select the folder we created earlier. Then make sure you click store virtual disk as a single file and then put 50 gigabytes at least. Then click customize hardware. Here you can select how much RAM your system can have or and how many CPU cores. I recommend opening Task Manager and checking how much memory your host system has, and then according to that select the amount of RAM the guest system can have. I have 16 gigabytes, so I'll be doing half of that, which is 8 gigabytes. Make sure you multiply 8 times 1024. And then for the processor cores, I have 8 logical processors. You can go up to 8, but if you go over, your virtual machine will not boot. The rest of the settings can stay as default and click close at the bottom. Then click finish. Now if you have an AMD system, go ahead and close VMware and open the edit VMX file I'll have in the description and copy that into the VMX of your virtual machine. Just follow the steps on screen. Once you have your virtual machine VMX file open and the VMX edit for AMD systems, scroll to the bottom and then copy the edit and then paste it at the bottom. If you have an Intel CPU, this is not necessary. Make sure there are no spaces in the lines. Then save it and close, and you can go ahead and power on your virtual machine. Once you see the loading, you should be good to go. Once macOS is booted, you'll be brought to a screen that asks your language. Select your language and click Next at the bottom. Then you'll see a screen that says macOS Utilities. Here you'll see Install and then Disk Utility. Click Disk Utility first. In the top left corner, click View and then Show All Devices. Then select your virtual hard drive, that should be around 50 gigabytes. Click Erase and you can choose your own name, and the format and scheme should be set as default. Then click Done and then click the X in the corner. Then move on to Install macOS and then click Continue. And then go ahead and follow the steps on screen. This process is based on the speed of your Wi-Fi and the speed of the host system, so this can take up to an hour. Once you're rebooted, you can select your country and then you can follow the steps on screen. When it asks to sign in with your Apple ID, make sure you click Setup Later. Once you're at the desktop, you can move on to the next step. First, eject the Install macOS Catalina disk, and then click Player, Removable Devices, CD, DVD, and then Settings. Then click Browse for a new ISO, and then go to the Unlocker folder. Then find the darwin.iso file, and then click Open. VMware Tools installer should automatically open. Double-click Install VMware Tools and then you should be in the installer. Follow the steps on screen and everything should be fine. Once it says the installation was successful, go ahead and just click Restart and then everything should boot back up. After reboot, if the VM is still not in full screen, just exit and then click full screen again. If you find that the full screen mode lags your PC too much, you can also resize the window to a smaller window. If you find that the VMware Tools installer pops up again, you can just click the X. Once you've closed that, you can just eject the installer and then go back to the player and then removable devices and then CD, settings, and then uncheck connected power on. Now we can move on to the next step. Now this is going to be the hard part, enabling iServices. This is real Apple communication services inside of our virtual machine. Start by downloading Clover Configurator. This is a tool that will allow us to get a fake SMBIOS, which is a way to spoof our virtual machine as a real Mac. Once you've downloaded it, go ahead and open the Clover Configurator. If you get an error, just click OK and then open System Preferences, Security and Privacy, and then click Open Anyway. Once you have the application open, go to the SMBIOS tab. From here, you'll find the two up and down arrows and select Mac Pro 7,1. It should be at the bottom. Then click Generate New Serial Number, and now on the host PC side, open the smbios.txt file I'll have in the downloads. The first thing we need to copy over is the board-ID. That's the serial number that starts with Mac dash and then a bunch of numbers right after. Then the hardware model would be the Mac Pro 7,1. Then we need to copy over the serial number. The bottom two, the ROM and MLB, will need to go to a different tab in Clover Configurator. Click RT Variables. Then underneath the box, click Generate. That would be the ROM that we need to copy over where it says EEE. Then beneath that, for the MLB, you'll find that in the dark blue box underneath. Once that's all copied, go ahead and click Save. And you can go ahead and close Clover Configurator and shut down your virtual machine. Once your VM is shut down, go to the folder where it's stored and open the VMX file again. First, find board ID reflect host. Make sure it says equal to true and not false. If it says equal to false, make sure to change it to true. Then find the line that says firmware equal to EFI. Right under that, we will need to copy all of our SMBIOS data and paste it underneath that. Once you've done that, you can go ahead and close the other SMBIOS file, and we can continue working on the VMX file. Find Ethernet address type, and make sure it says equal to static and not generated. Then find Ethernet generated address. From here, we'll need to change the first 6 characters to an Apple ROM. I'll have this website linked as well. I will change the first 3 to 00, 03, and 93. Then where it says generated, remove the generated part and just make sure it says dot address. Below that, it should say dot generated address offset. Change that to check MAC address equal to false. Then save that, close, and then we can reopen our virtual machine. Now we can test whether our hard work paid off. Go ahead and log back into your virtual machine and we can test whether iMessage works. Before you open iMessage, open System and then About This Mac and make sure your serial number shows up there. If you don't see it there, you might have to redo the process. Then open System Preferences and make sure your time zone is set correctly. This could possibly cause errors if it is not set correctly. Once you have the correct date and time set, go ahead and open the Messages app. Go ahead and log in, and if you successfully make it to this screen, you should be good to go. You can go ahead and text any phone numbers that are related to an Apple ID, or you can text an Apple ID directly. If it says iMessage down below, go ahead and send something, and then if you get the delivered text, you made it. Now you can send and receive iMessages on your Windows PC. The next step will be to get this on your Android. Now there are multiple ways to do this. Some of the solutions like AirMessage and BlueBubbles are the most common ones, although I find AirMessage to be the most convenient since you can just log in with your Google account and complete the setup. I'll also have BlueBubbles linked down below. Once you're at the AirMessage website, click the Install tab and then scroll down and then download it. You can launch the application from your Downloads folder, or you can move to the Applications folder. Then click Open. Once it says Welcome to AirMessage Server, click Connect an Account and then sign in with your normal Google account. Once it says Computer Register, click OK and then click Allow. You can see AirMessage running in your menu bar. If it says Cannot Connect to Database, click Open System Preferences. And then scroll down where it says Full Disk Access. If you don't see AirMessage showing up there, you can also click the plus symbol and then manually add it. Once you've added it, click Quit Now, click the lock, and then relaunch AirMessage. Then you'll see it's running, server running in your menu bar. Now we can move on to the Android setup portion. Open the Play Store and then search for AirMessage. Once you've opened the app, click Sign in with Google and sign in with the same Google account as on your Mac. Then when it says you are now connected to your Mac, click Download Messages. Now you'll see the messages we just sent. You can also enable contact pictures and names and click Allow. You'll see all the red markers and the contact profiles. Now at the bottom, click the bar and you can go ahead and send all the messages you like. Once it says delivered underneath your message, that means the message was sent successfully. I really hope you liked this video and that you found this video very helpful. This video took quite a while to make and I hope it's very useful, and if you like this video, click like. The other button doesn't seem to work anymore, and subscribe if you'd like to. If you have any questions or comments, just comment down below and I'll make sure I can answer them.